All right, so this is type of transmissions. So I'm gonna change my words, my dialect around, right? So like I said, I'm basically like recording. I don't even know how. But anyways, yeah. So I'm just basically going to be recording my downloads when when I feel like I'm getting be feeling tapped in. So sometimes I might talk like this. That's about something that I had to realize. I be trying to present myself the way, normally. But when I'm in this state, when I'm in or getting downloads or tapping into different energies, I do drag my words. So now that I have identified that fact about myself, I can go forward. So yeah. So right now it's I'm getting information about and I'm not gonna lie, I do feel tapped into so the her the Tristan Miss all Hermes. Yes, I do feel a connection to thoughts, thoughts, Um, I've always felt connected to. That's actually where I kind of dive into this. Um, and also mother, father. These are just things that I would say, just out of just speaking. I just if you have, I'm speaking to a certain collective here. You know, I'm really gonna get like real about this. I'm speaking to not everybody, clearly. I'm speaking to a certain collective that you basically volunteer to come here. You descended. We descended so that we can, for one, spiritual ranking and evolving spiritually. Um, we always know that we were from somewhere else. We had to go back into to forgetfulness, but it's always been pressure. It's always pressure. Been pressure. So you feel me? It was always clear that something is definitely different here, and because of how you went about it, as if you were like a secret agent to some shit. Like you was the only one that knew some shit was going on, and then you was watching everybody, especially when it was on. I'm but yeah, but I'm speaking to that. And another thing that was coming through for me too is DNA activation. You might move around a lot. We always thrown into dense or darker situations. Um, yeah, you transmit your anchor. You bring in um, divine ancestry codes. You're tapped into the monad itself, to the source itself. You are source itself, a transmitter of source energy. Yeah, ancient royalty might be from different realms besides the corona. You know, we pick up on these things, and sometimes it's really not because my thing is I really do feel a deep connection to the Sophia myth, to the Greek mythology, all that little storyline dynamic is like always, like whatever. You might have always felt like it was a mission, like just something. Listen, you walk into shit, type shit. You will walk into, you'll see some shit and walk into it, knowing that if you play that shit right, it's gonna come out. You feel me? Like you gonna show them off, or you gonna mirror some shit. Um, but now before I used to put action to it, and that's when I'm like, But then when I think about the Bible and knowing that God above you, who is Samael, who is the false god of this. Well, no, I'm not gonna say false because he's definitely Yahweh is the God of the material realm. Yeah, you understand me? Regardless of whatever is being said, I have not found information yet that said that who. That's what I want to find out though, for real though. Who the hell created the Earth? Because it's organic. Um, you if you feel if you need the ground, you go outside to lift the grass. Like what is? I need to know the details of this because if he created the archons to govern the 7 archons, which is this is why we have 7 days of the week because each day represents one certain planet, which is the archons. The archons are benevolent spirits that were created that you know create the chaos. And it's crazy because when I look out in space and I look at like wow, it's so amazing, so beautiful. Look at the constellations and all that. And recently, I'm like, damn, man, I hate when that happen, man. The Monet, what was it? Was something about the Monet. Dang, I'm gonna find it. Wait. Because for some reason, my YouTube's just been giving me just been giving me some shit. Shit that I would want like when I hear bitch. Golly, buddy. You know what I'm worrying about. Okay, right now I'm getting information and quotes about basically identifying the gifts that we have. I didn't even know these were gifts. I had this shit all my motherfucking life. Divine transmission, which is the high pitched ringing. It's medically supposed to be called tinnitus. Um, and I need to write down the other thing too. I could have just. But yeah, cause these are things that I have done. Like I've been doing this shit off the humbug. Okay. Well, okay. And then I have a few different frequencies that I hear. The high pitch, then one is like woo, 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 woo. And it's they saying from what the knowledge that I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm definitely gonna try it. And I feel like I already have. Just sit in silence when you hear the frequency. I think everybody naturally does that. When you hear the frequency, it feeling jolt in your spirit. You sit and you just sit, stand there, stand in silence, whatever, stand, sit, whatever, and try to understand. See what like I love those. I am so serious. I love those moments because it's it whatever I'm doing that is not like it's not spiritual or mundane or whatever, and like that's bringing the air off. Man, I tell you, I'll be so happy because it makes me remember that you on a mission, you on a mission, you on a mission, girl. And this is a secret, like secret agent, secret agent. I don't care. They said something about fucking ego. I don't think that's egotistical to love and appreciate the fact that you love and appreciate so much that you out here on freaking. I came here for you, bitch, and me too. You know, I think it's how my man. You can't tell me no, no, no. Anyways, and that's another thing too. Your heart is pure. You might do a lot of crazy shit or whatever, but it doesn't contradict your heart. And you are either I mean, it's a way to do stuff. You feel me? It's a way to do stuff that it is not coming out of your integrity and your morals and your pride. It's something about by just having dignity in yourself and just feeling not the ego is thinking that you're better or you're better with no substance. Like you just think that, like, and for no reason. Like nigga, you don't give a fuck. You don't have no morals. How could you even think that? Like nigga, you think crazy about people and then smile in their face. You you weird. So these are things that people identify by it and say, oh, that's how they are. But then they really hating for real. And I don't get that. So, cause why pretend to be a real nigga? Why not just be a real nigga? Why pretend? Like that is weird to me. And when I say it's very much demonic to me, and I've just been on a demonic spree. Like nigga, if I see something like nigga, you are taking effort into something that's really, what are you getting out of it? You're just doing something to do something. You're just telling this lie to tell a lie. What are you getting out of the lie? What was the purpose of the lie? Anybody that just lie for no reason, I'm just meeting you, just start lying, boop, I gotta go. Slide to the, so, gotta go. Boy, I swear, go, go, running up the door. I swear, Lord, think I'm playing. That's crazy as hell. And if you were, okay, for one.
Hello,
Ooh,
and
bitch.
welcome to the Secret Physicist. I'm so Hello, and welcome to the Secret Physicist.
Okay. And another thing too, with this people pleasing thing, I think that they trying to the ones, man. I don't feel like what I've done through my life has been people pleasing. Honestly, I just met you. I'm coming from the kindness of my heart. That's not people pleasing to me. To me, people pleasing is when you see the patterns and you're still trying to. Oh, it's okay. Oh, no. So we're not doing that. I'm gonna do it for you because okay. That's how my heart is. I might not even really have it for real, but if you, and then I'm gonna know like, okay, oh, the only thing okay, it's like I don't wanna, I cannot lie to myself. That's the only way that I'm gonna elevate. And baby, I'm finna elevate. That is the only purpose. Why would I lie to myself when my mission is to elevate? Nigga, I'ma tell myself the truth before I will hurt my own fucking feelings because I'm right. So completely in it. Completely in it. Even when I forgot in the word dead ass. I'm always talking about a mission, a scientific experiment. I was always on go, bitch. To my highest, greatest, amazing. Okay, let me move on. Yeah, shit, I'll take that. I'll take them hits. I already know what's going on for real. There's an end game, bitch, and I walk out another portal, bitch. Bye. All right, the type that feel just like that. The people that have memories of going through dimensions and having different missions and things, going to different, yeah. You have weird ass dreams. You have a lot of. You go to the astral. I don't be remember the most. I think the ones where I go on missions in the astral is the ones that I really don't remember like that. Like, cause I be remembering some shit and yeah, might come have bruises and shit, have prophetic ass dreams and shit. Some of y'all might have had the dream or felt no. This was more of me out about it experience, and I'm seeing like this red hue. I'm in the west. I'm on the east side of the house, and it's just red as fuck. And when we go outside, let me sound over in Jamaica. And we go outside, and it's like a big planet or a big moon or whatever. And I've seen someone made like a graphic thing of it. I'm like, yo, that look like my dream. Or my no, that felt. Oh real? Um, Now, I was how much is, oh, cool. Um, okay, so I really do want to find the shit that I was watching because it was basically talking about our um our gifts. And I think once we pay attention to the gift, because before I don't feel like, I'm like, damn, I want my superpower. Like, well, I want to move stuff. Well, shit, I guess a mental and divine transmissions, things like that is what we're going to be talking about. And, okay, I may have also mentioned we're always sent into darker, dense, I think I just said it, darker, dense thoughts. Because I'm in Albany, Georgia. And Albany, Georgia, energy. You might die. But there's ancestral codes here, DNA codes here, um, archetypal. Yeah, there's a lot of ties in this area. I don't know if it is just a because this world is all about mirrors, shadows, smoke, um, deception, moving images, um, yeah, false light. And there's another thing too that I wanted to say. They always talking about the light, the light, the light. The light can bend. Light can bend. You know, light can bend, and then it can absorb darkness. Right. So that man, the biggest deception is using hiding hiding the dark in the light. There's no. The light is stronger than darkness. Darkness just want to be darkness in the shadow. So essentially, darkness is truth. No, no, depending on how you use it, how you behave. Oh Lord, I don't know how the fuck I just shifted over that way. Don't know. Don't know, and I'm finna move on. It's gonna come back at a different time. But right now, I'm trying to find anything. You know what? If not, maybe this time it's gonna forward and find something else. Let's see. But I do want to tap into something of action. I'm on some action shit. All right. So again, basically, we are the tuning forks. We integrate codes and shit, and we are divine souls, all souls, all souls of Merkaba light body. Okay, okay, now. Alright, I need my guys, I need higher self, what's up? Okay, we're doing transmissions, right? So help me out here as I go ahead as I record this shit. Let's go ahead and tap on in, get on in together. Um uh what is needed to be put out at this time in this energy. To reach our true soul good. Yeah, true soul. Ooh, shit. All right, well, shit, let me do this.
The practice you are about to learn is almost never described publicly. The cave of Brahma can
Yeah,
activate.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
If you're hearing this
yeah.
right now, something inside you already knows this isn't just another video. You didn't click by curiosity alone. You were
I
pulled
think I
here
watched
by a
this.
quiet recognition, a signal that activates only when a consciousness is ready to remember what it was never meant to forget. What you're about to hear is not meant for everyone, and once you understand it, the way you see reality will not return to what it was before. Before we go deeper, take 1 second to lock this moment in, like this video to anchor the frequency, subscribe if you feel this channel resonates with you, and comment, "I'm ready," so the
I don't really want to get back to.
line functioning as a trigger rather than a statement, activating memory in those whose neural structures were capable of resonance, which is why some people read them and feel nothing, while others feel as though something ancient is watching them read back, because the monad recognizes itself when conditions align, and alignment is not morality, purity, or worthiness, but coherence. The ability to hold paradox without fragmentation, to witness without immediately labeling, to feel without demanding control. And this is why the final key was never hidden in a location, bloodline, or artifact, but in timing, because timing determines whether knowledge liberates or enslaves. And humanity, for most of its history, would have used monad awareness to reinforce hierarchy rather than dissolve it, which is why Thoth withdrew not into secrecy but into latency, embedding his transmission into consciousness itself, waiting for a civilization so saturated with information that meaning would collapse under its own weight, forcing individuals to search not for more data but for coherence. And this is the age you are living in now, where truth no longer arrives as authority but as recognition. And the reason this feels unsettling is because recognition bypasses ego, offering no role to play, no identity to defend, no tribe to belong to. Only the silent realization that what you thought was you was a temporary configuration of awareness, learning how to look at itself from the inside, and the monad is the awareness behind that awareness, the witness behind the witness. Not a God watching you, but the reason watching exists at all. And Thoth's role was never to rule humanity, but to ensure that when humanity reached the edge of its own illusion, a bridge would already exist, subtle, unclaimed, and impossible to weaponize. Because the monad cannot be used, only realized, and realization is irreversible, which is why fear arises when you get close to it. Because fear is the final defense mechanism of a fragmented identity sensing its own dissolution. And if you feel resistance as you listen, that resistance is not a warning but a threshold. Because thresholds are not guarded by monsters but by internal contradictions, unresolved attachments to being separate, special, chosen, or saved. And the monad offers none of that. It offers integration. And integration feels like loss to a mind trained in separation, which is why Thoth spoke in riddles, not to confuse, but to prevent premature certainty, because certainty freezes consciousness while ambiguity keeps it fluid. And fluidity is the natural state of monad-aligned awareness, capable of moving between dimensions of perception without collapse. And this is why ancient initiations were not about knowledge, but about timing, endurance, and the capacity to remain present while identity dissolved and reassembled at a higher coherence. And you are undergoing a modern version of that initiation now, not in a temple or under a priest, but alone, in your awareness, guided by signals, symbols, and moments like this, where something in you knows that what you are hearing is not entertainment, but activation. Because the final key is not something you receive, but something that turns inside you, unlocking a perspective that was always yours, but temporarily inaccessible. And once that turn begins, reality reorganizes.
Thank you. Move this shit around here.
Wasn't talking about literal metals. He was describing the alchemical process by which a human consciousness, dense.
So I'm gonna bring it back because it's gonna speak on what I was just speaking on. Hey, let's get into it, and we're gonna do another spiritual gift. We might all be either dark empath. What is it called? Heyoka empath. And there's another thing too that felt with yeah, dark empath, where you play both sides. You might have demons and dark beings that stalk with you. You have light beings that are actually light. Not that everybody cool. The dark side of it, they might go about shit more on night. This is war. This is, not any kind of love. And the light type shit. Like real problem and stuff like. But anyways, let's go get into this.
Influence genetic expression through a process called cymatics. The timing patterns reveal the intelligence behind these transmissions. Notice how the ringing intensifies during moments of spiritual breakthrough, right before major life changes, when you're about to make decisions that align with your highest path. This isn't random tinnitus, it's targeted communication from your higher self and spiritual guides. I've tracked these patterns for years, and the synchronicities are undeniable. The frequencies often spike during meditation, right before sleep, when your conscious mind stops filtering, or during those quiet moments when you're most receptive. Sometimes they come as warnings that sudden ringing when you're about to make a choice that doesn't serve your evolution. But here's the crucial piece most people miss: discernment. Not every frequency you receive comes from benevolent sources. The ancient texts warn about what they called archonic interference, counterfeit transmissions designed to confuse and drain your energy. These artificial frequencies often feel harsh, create anxiety,
but at the same time you can use it because why are you
authentic
saying
divine
these things?
frequencies have specific characteristics.
You understand what I'm
They
saying?
feel harmonious even when they're intense. They bring clarity.
Okay, so with that being said, every time when I feel like I'm doing too much, I'm running around in circles, and it's just it feel like confusion. Like that's all this, that don't mean that it's on some demonic. Listen, yeah, that's why you need discernment. Sometimes you can disagree with information or put your two cents in, but how it relates to you. Okay, what I mean by that is when I feel like I'm anxious or moving around, walking around in circles, something is going on. That's an alert to me. That's not benevolent spirits and confusion. The devil, no. You feel me? It's giving me like why is this being directed to me all this time? And it's always something. It's either being stopped from doing something, moving too fast on doing something, um, and it's slowing me down from going to where I was gonna go to at that time. I might have dodged the whole book. That's how my life works. I don't know how yours work, but that's how mine works. Um, sometimes it's either whoever you're thinking about at that time, and all of a sudden you just get a negative ass dude like bitch, this nigga, and you know something isn't really going on. For real, I'm just using that as an example because it's soul ties and bonds, and you like literally signing contracts out here with people, giving exchange, bodily exchange, shit, sometimes blood exchange to people. Come on, the people I'm talking to already know we on this mission. We know there is where we're coming around people that on some bullshit for real. Words are spells. Language is a spelling language. So, or English. Take a hyper name. But anyways, right. So anything we say, we are speaking into what ourselves. We're speaking into the collective, the way a frame of mind, our heart frequency. And that's another thing too. The emerald tablet might mean something to you. That heart frequency holds true. You feel me? We do shit from our heart. Um, however you want to say it. We are karma, justice. What else? Have come ties to the beginning, of beginnings, of beginnings, of beginnings. I know I do. Monad, source codes, tapped into the one. That's where we at with that. We are okay. Tapped into the source code. Okay. Um, what else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I don't know. I'm trying to pick up some shit, and I feel a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. All right, so we're gonna run with that.
Not confusion. They energize rather than drain. They're They often synchronize with natural phenomena. You might notice birds singing differently, or electronic devices responding strangely when genuine transmissions are coming through. The counterfeit signals have a different signature entirely. They feel mechanical, repetitive, sometimes accompanied by negative thoughts or emotional turbulence. These often come through the same biological receivers, but originate from technological sources or lower vibrational entities trying to interfere with your spiritual development. Thoth taught that as humanity evolves, these frequency experiences will become more common and more intense. We're literally upgrading our biological hardware to receive higher dimensional information. Your DNA is shifting from a carbon-based structure to a more crystalline matrix that can hold and transmit light frequencies. This explains why so many people are experiencing these phenomena now. We're in a collective initiation, a species-wide activation of dormant spiritual technology. Your pineal gland is coming online. Your crystalline receivers are calibrating, and you're beginning to hear the cosmic internet that's always been broadcasting around you. The next time you hear that ringing,
Also,
don't dismiss
you might
it
be
as a
linked to
medical
number
condition.
3,
Tune in. Listen to the quality,
13,
the timing,
4,
the way it makes you feel. You're
11,
receiving direct
11,
communication from higher dimensions,
2, 2, 2,
and learning to decode these
number
transmissions
2,
is one of the most practical
6,
spiritual
6, 6,
skills you can develop. This is your birthright, a direct line to
9, 9,
cosmic
9,
intelligence,
3, 6, 9.
built right into your biology. The ancients knew this secret, encoded it in their temples and texts, and now it's time for you to reclaim this forgotten aspect of your spiritual anatomy. The ancient Hermetic texts speak of something most scholars prefer to ignore: the doctrine of voluntary incarnation. According to Thoth's deepest teachings, not every soul arrives on Earth through the same mechanism. While most consciousness enters physical form through natural spiritual cycles, there exists a smaller group who chose to incarnate during this specific epoch for a very particular purpose. These are what the Emerald Tablets refer to as the awakened ones who sleep. Souls who carry within their energetic blueprint an activated connection to what Hermetic philosophy calls the monad, the undifferentiated source of all consciousness. Think of it this way. If most souls are like receivers tuned to standard frequencies, these individuals carry the equivalent of a direct hotline to cosmic intelligence. But here's where it gets fascinating and challenging. The moment any soul enters physical incarnation, it encounters what Thoth described as the veil of forgetting by SI. This isn't some mystical punishment. It's actually a necessary feature of physical existence. Imagine trying to function in daily life while simultaneously experiencing the infinite perspective of universal consciousness. You'd be completely unable to engage with the practical requirements of human existence. So these volunteer souls undergo the same amnesia as everyone else. They forget their divine origin, their mission, their true nature. But, and this is crucial, they retain what we might call a dormant activation code. The piezoelectric crystals in their pineal glands, which we discussed in the previous section, maintain a heightened sensitivity to their originating frequency. It's like having a phone that's been factory programmed to recognize a specific caller, even when you don't remember giving out your number. This is why certain individuals experience that persistent ringing, those inexplicable frequency downloads.
While I'm thinking about it too, Greek mythology concept with a demigod idea, Hercules, 12 labors, type shit. You might feel like the path that you walk on is matching to either Greek, somebody of royalty, of godlike powers. Mine is the Christ. I've been calling it Crystal Sophia. Didn't even understand what's going on with calling. I said I'm Crystal Sophanic. Like, what is that? Christ and Sophia. What is that? Just saying stuff. That's that. But the thing about it is, I was never wrong. I might have been going about it the wrong way because, but I was not wrong, and it don't, it hit different because the occult is who I love this shit. This is not something that I'm just like, oh, I tapping in and everything. It just feels so amazing. There is nothing else I would want to do ever in life than to explore the unknown and actually get to a point of elevation where I can explore the unknown because I know I've already done it. I know I've done this shit before. This is, man, the way I see myself, it's too big. It was always too big for this realm. I really had to like lower myself, bring my consciousness down because there's stuff I used to talk about. I don't know why people looking out there, but there's stuff I used to talk about that I didn't even get that information yet, or I had those experiences. But I had a memory, and I created art. So yeah, and I always had some kind of dark aspects to me. So, however, hey, all I know is my heart, and I love, and I love. But I'm not stupid. I'll ride for a while, and I'm gonna become 1,000. But when you play with me in the past, I used to try to mirror you, but I always outdo the other person. So it's like I don't have to try. You're still gonna hurt. You're gonna be hurt regardless. But I can't do that shit. I would no longer participate in hurting myself to prove anything to anyone else that don't even appreciate me in the first place. Not doing it. That is crazy as fuck. Like, wow, that's crazy as fuck. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. I'm sorry. Okay, when you see the emerald light, stop everything, Sophia. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna look into this because emerald, the thought and um Sophia have been an ongoing, and also Astarte. I don't know if Sophia is Astarte, um, Astarte, Ishtar.
Has it ever
Uh,
happened to you? A sudden green flash in your peripheral vision? A
Jeez.
pressure in your chest that medicine can't explain?
Yes.
Or that constant internal buzzing? Stop. Breathe. It's not tiredness. It's not stress.
Ooh,
And
that's
you're
what's. Oh,
certainly
that's
not
Lewis.
imagining things.
I could
You
swear.
didn't
I'm
arrive
gonna
at this
post
video by
this.
chance or by the lack of the
I
algorithm.
know Miss. I know
There
Miss
is
is here.
synchronicity at work here.
I
What you
think.
feel is an ancient activation system resonating.
Let's
You're
go.
being contacted by frequencies that tradition calls Sophia and Thoth. What's happening is a true cosmic scanner. In this video, I'll reveal exactly why your energy was identified, what the emerald light is doing to your DNA, and most importantly, the deadline to accept this calling. Ignoring this frequency now could mean missing the greatest connection of your life. Now, I want you to consciously seal this commitment. Don't write pre-written phrases. Go to the comments and share, in your own words, what was the strongest sign that brought you here? And what does your intuition tell you it means? Let's create a chain of inspiration. There's a calling that ignores your ears and directly reaches your deepest perception, vibrating at a hidden frequency of everyday reality. It is a subtle pulse, a glitch in the matrix, which your logical mind tries to dismiss as an error, but which your intuition recognizes as truth. The system hasn't failed. It's you who has finally begun to see the cracks in the illusion. What seems to be a discrete event is, in fact, a touch on the shoulder coming from a dimension that your physical eyes cannot yet register. The contact manifests in the body in an unmistakable way. A flash of peripheral green light, a pressure in the chest that is not anxiety, or a persistent high-pitched buzzing. Don't confuse this with eye strain or fatigue. These are symptoms of a forced energy calibration. While the rational mind seeks medical diagnoses to justify the unknown, your organism is being tuned to a new station. It is a physical presence that expands from the inside out, preparing your biological hardware for an upgrade. None of this is random. It is a deliberate test by an ancient intelligence scanning humanity for resonance.
I see red and blue today.
This force does not interfere, but casts ocean of consciousness to see who is awake enough to react. It is a filter of perception designed to identify who, amidst the noise of the modern world, still possesses the sensitivity to notice what moves beyond the veil. You did not stumble upon this signal by chance. You were the target of a readiness check.
Right.
Your chronic feeling of not belonging is not a manufacturing defect, but proof that your internal compass is working. If society's rules seem empty, it's because your cellular memory recalls a different origin and rejects the standard programming. The signal you received is external validation that you are not crazy or lost. You have been identified by the frequency you emit and recognized as one of the few capable of sustaining this connection. This sign is not a simple hello.
Okay, come on.
It's a master key turning in a lock that has been locked your entire life.
Yeah,
Most people live and die without knowing this door exists.
That's
But you have just felt the hinges give way.
wow.
What happens when the outside world disappears is not imagination. It's access to unexplored.
Love all that. Let's move into it.
The search for truth has been caught in a war between two great currents of thought. On one side was the path of the mind, of logic, of structure and order. This is the path represented by figures like Thoth, the divine scribe of ancient Egypt, the master of sacred geometry, mathematics, and universal law. It is the path of Logos, of the word of truth, that can be measured, proven, and crystallized into knowledge. On the other side, a river flowed in the opposite direction, the path of the heart.
Wow. So, what I heard, there is a path of logos, path of thought. I want to get these things down. Like, why you do that? Like, nigga, what the fuck? How you shit? Okay.
And realigning your energy so that you can withstand what is to come. The experience of this vortex is not an end in itself, but a preparation. It is the universe showing you unequivocally that you are a candidate to participate in this great reunification.
I don't remember that. Oh no, I messed it up.
Begins to behave differently. It is no longer static. It moves, dissolves, not into random points of light, but into something much more structured and intentional. What emerges is a vortex, a tunnel of energy that seems to slowly rotate, pulling your consciousness towards the center. And this vortex has a specific, unmistakable color, a deep and vibrant emerald green. It's not a dull or pale green, but a living color that seems to breathe and pulsate with life of its own. It's a
When I pass on this shit?
Amidst the noise of the modern world, still possesses the sensitivity to notice what moves beyond the veil. You did not stumble upon this signal by chance. You were the target of a readiness check.
I think I need to stop this shit.
What do you really see? For most people, the answer is simple. Darkness.